Hello FantasyDaddy.com viewers, once again it's Bowe Fertig alongside James Boyer, and today we're talking rookies' impact in 2013. The 2013 draft was a bit unique this year in that they only saw one skilled player, offensive skilled player drafted in the top 10 and two in the top 25. We've seen within the past couple years a lot of quarterbacks within the top 5 and a few running backs, but this year was a little different. So talk about this year and the 2013 impact from this year's rookie class.
In that top 10, Tavon Austin, that was the one guy you mentioned right there. He had back-to-back seasons in college, over 100 receptions and 1,000 yards. This guy has got elite speed. Once the ball's in his hand, elite acceleration. My one concern is maybe his size, 5'8", 175. St. Louis Rams would be interesting to see how they incorporate him in that offense, see if Sammy Bradford can give him the ball, but I think that wouldn't be no problem at all.
Austin last year, 35% of his offensive production came from catching the ball at or behind the line of scrimmage, where he averaged 7.5 yards. So you talked about that explosiveness, and the guy had the second fastest 40-yard dash at the combine, 4.25, only behind Chris Johnson, who ran a 4.24. So the speed is definitely there.
Yeah, he actually, just a little tidbit on that one, he actually led the NCAA last season from line of scrimmage yards, with 1,900. That was first in the NCAA. He over 1,000 yards receiving, 600 yards rushing, special player.
Another big impact player, Denard Robinson, who is given an OW offensive name. Offensive weapon is what they're calling it. This guy could really do it from the slot, the backfield, and they might use him on special teams. What do you expect from Denard Robinson in 2013?
You know what? I expect some big things. Jacksonville's a little bit of a suspect as far as their quarterback position goes, but I think the guy can definitely make an impact. I think Dexter McCluster a little bit when you were picking this guy in the draft. He's not going to be afraid to be in the open field. The guy had 723 career rushes in NCAA while he played for Michigan. He had 3 consecutive seasons over 1,000 yards. He broke Antoine Randall's Big Ten rushing record for quarterbacks. So I think it could translate it into that OW position.
Yeah. To me, it just seems like with that OW name, with the title, it seems like he's getting a good grasp of that offense. And with the OW tag, it just seems like they're going to use him in multiple different formations, behind the line of scrimmage, in the slot, and I think he's really going to have a big impact. The Jags, 30th in rushing last year without MJD, 29th overall offense. Blaine Gabbert is going to need to get rid of the ball quickly this year, and I think Denard Robinson will be that outlet for him. Another big impact player, Monty Ball. Monty Ball had a great college career. Led the FBS with 55 touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. Talk about Monty Ball a little bit.
Monty Ball, yeah. I mean, he's definitely, this guy is a touchdown machine. He was a 2012 Doak Walker Award winner last season. Led the NCAA in rushing with 1,830 yards. The one concern I do have is he had consecutive seasons where he had over 300 carries. Last season he actually had 356.
That's a lot.
So you can only imagine that. But in that 356, he still managed over 5 yards per carry. His junior year, he had 6.3 yards per carry. He led pretty much the league in rushing that year, his junior year. And another thing is ball security. The guy takes care of the ball. In 900 career carries at Wisconsin, he actually only had 2 fumbles. So that's ball security for you.
And that's what they look for in the NFL. Usually when you get those rookie running backs coming up, it really comes down to ball security. And with that stat, it seems like he's going to improve as a vital running back in that backfield. Nonetheless, he also, what a lot of people don't really understand about Monty Ball is he led the FBS last year with rushes over 15 yards. So not only can he do it in goal-to-goal situations, but he can really extend the field and get those first downs, keep moving the markers for that Denver Bronco offense. Not that they really need it, but he's going to be a great addition to that backfield. Let's talk about who's going to have the most touchdowns. It seems like Monty Ball in 2013 will have most touchdowns out of all rookies.
Yeah.
Denver top 10 in goal-to-goal rushes as well as rushes inside the 10-yard line. He really seems like he's going to be a really good fit this year for Denver.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, definitely Monty Ball, I think, has the most touchdowns as a running back. But you also got to take into consideration Green Bay's Eddie Lacy. I think the guy, he's that big big back, runs upfield, 5'11", 231. He had 1,300 yards last season on 204 carries, 17 touchdowns. And then again, I think this guy's a 3-down tailback. He can play every down. He can carry the ball 20 to 25 times per game. Green Bay's not going to be, doing that, but he can carry it. He's consistently runs through the tackles, very nimble on his feet, makes quick fluid motions while he's in the open field. So I think he can definitely get to that 10 touchdown mark, Eddie Lacy.
Lacy, in between the tackles, averaged 7.6 rushing yards. The year before that, Trent Richardson, 5.1 in between the tackles. We saw the great rookie season that Trent Richardson had. I believe Eddie Lacy will have a similar season in that great high-profile offense in Green Bay.
Bama backs.
Yeah. Total yards. Who do you think will have the most total yards out of the rookies in 2013?
Most total yards, I got to go Tavon Austin from St. Louis Rams. He actually had the most yards from scrimmage than any other NCAA player last year at 1,900. He had 1,000 receiving and over 600 yards rushing. I think he definitely, and even if he is able to return kicks, I could see that mark going over the 2,000 range if he stays healthy. And like I said, the concern is playing for the St. Louis Rams and his size, but he's still going to be a star.
Because Justin Blackmon is starting the season on the player PUP list.
PUP list. We'll call it DL.
We'll call it the DL for all you baseball fans out there. Denard Robinson, I think he's going to have a huge impact on this offense this year. Because he can do it in the slot and behind the line of scrimmage, he's going to get the ball in open space. And I really think if MJD is back, it will only help his cause. Just taking that pressure off of MJD, taking the pressure off of Blaine Gabbert, getting the ball out of his hands quickly, I think it will prove huge dividends for Denard Robinson. And if Denard Robinson is in special teams this year, he will no doubt have the most total yards. I think he's the complete package out of any player, out of any rookie in 2013, the complete package. Which one will have the best overall career?
Best overall career, you definitely got to take in consideration Monty Ball here, just because his ability of what he's done in college with the amount of touchdowns, yards per carry, pretty much complete back. But I also like, for a long shot here, I like Giovanni Bernard from Cincinnati Bengals. He has back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. He had 25 rushing touchdowns over those past 2 seasons. Matter of fact, he caught 40 balls in consecutive seasons. So that kind of tells me right there, that's kind of what the NFL is. It's a throwing league, you know what I mean? We need running backs to be able to catch the ball in the backfield. He'll be a good complement back to BGE over there in Cincinnati. And last season he had 6.7 yards per carry. So I think he can not 6.7, maybe around 4.5, 5 yards per carry. I like him this year.
Couple minutes left. We're gonna go over under. I'm gonna give you some players' names, and you let me know whether they will go over under.
All right.
Monty Ball, 10 touchdowns in 2013.
I go the over here. I say not by much. I think he ends up around 10 to 12 years. He's gonna get the most of the workload there, especially with McGahee gone. Yeah, I take the over.
Denver, like I said last year, top 10 in red zone rushing attempts, as well as 6th most in goal-to-goal rushes. Next player, Denard Robinson, 600 total yards.
600 total yards. You know what? I take the over here, but not by much. I think, like you said, if he is able to be on special teams, that's definitely going to take those yards up a little bit more. I think he's around 500 or 600 yards total. And Jacksonville's offense is going to struggle this year, so it'd be interesting to see how they incorporate him as well.
What about Tavon Austin? 700 receiving yards in 2013 for St. Louis.
Receiving yards, I'd definitely take the over there. He's had consecutive seasons over 100 receptions while he was with West Virginia and over 1,000 yards. He's a slot type of receiver, possesses elite speed once the ball's in his hands. We've seen it. It's one of those type of guys like you see on film, those Julio Jones. You see those guys on film, and they just, you see it. They have it. They have the it factor, and he's one of those guys this year.
Amendola, in a handful of years at St. Louis, only 689 receiving yards was his career high. I think that's the reason they got rid of Amendola, because they have an electric player in Tavon Austin. And about 30 seconds left. Green Bay total rushing yards for the new backs, over 1,500 rushing yards.
I'm going to take the over here. I think both these guys, Jonathan Franklin and Eddie Lacy, are awesome backs. They're going to complement each other well. Eddie Lacy's going to pound that 3-down back, and then you're going to throw Franklin in there on 3rd downs and shotgun, where he had most of his big plays at UCLA anyways. Over 15.
I like Franklin out of the backfield, catching the ball out of the backfield. They're going to be a really good duo.